Respect is not born from kindness or charm, it is born from distance. The masses mistake familiarity for connection, but what they fail to understand is that closeness erodes perception. The more accessible you are, the more ordinary you appear. The truly powerful know that distance is not about physical space. It is about emotional control. It is the deliberate act of revealing little and concealing much. When others can predict your thoughts, your patterns, your reactions, they lose the sense of awe that sustains respect. What people cannot grasp, they begin to admire. What they cannot possess, they begin to value. And what they cannot control, they begin to fear. These three emotions, admiration, desire, and fear, are the pillars upon which respect is built. To make anyone respect you instantly, you must first learn the art of being unpredictable. The world is full of transparent souls. Those who speak too quickly, reveal too much, and beg for understanding. Their words are cheap because they are abundant. Your words, however, should be rare and deliberate. Speak as if every sentence costs you something. Let your silence carry more meaning than their noise. People will lean in to hear what you do not say. They will try to read the spaces between your words, and in those silent spaces, power is born. Controlled distance is not coldness, it is strategy. You do not isolate yourself completely, for that breeds irrelevance. Instead, you stay near enough to be seen, but far enough to be desired. The flame that burns too close loses its mystique. The one just out of reach draws hands toward it. You must master the balance. To appear present but unattainable, visible but untouchable. Your presence should feel like a privilege, not a right. Every interaction must leave others slightly uncertain whether they have impressed you or disappointed you. That uncertainty keeps them trying. It keeps them careful, and in their caution, they begin to respect you. Understand that distance magnifies perception. When people see less of you, they imagine more. They fill the gaps with exaggeration, assumptions, and fascination. Their imagination becomes your ally, painting you in shades more powerful than reality itself. This is why the great leaders, thinkers, and conquerors of the past were rarely seen, rarely heard, yet always felt. They allowed mystery to do what words could not, to create presence without presence. To command respect, you must also master restraint. Do not respond to every provocation. Do not rush to clarify every misunderstanding. The urge to explain yourself is the death of authority. Let them question, let them whisper. It feeds your myth. Your stillness should unsettle them more than their accusations ever could. The one who reacts has already surrendered the throne. The one who waits observes, and chooses when to engage, rules without ever announcing it. Controlled distance is a test of discipline. It demands that you value perception over emotion, control over connection. You will be tempted to be understood, to be liked, to be open. Resist it. Familiarity dilutes strength. You are not meant to be seen everywhere, heard by everyone, or available at every call. Those who move with quiet confidence, who appear when they choose and disappear when they wish, command the stage without ever asking for it. Keep your circle small, your intentions hidden, your emotions guarded. When others wonder what you think, they begin to care. When they cannot predict what you will do next, they begin to respect you. And when they realize that your presence cannot be summoned at will, they begin to understand that you are not one of them. You are above the ordinary currents of emotion and noise that govern most people. Every interaction begins long before a single word is spoken. The moment you walk into a room, people unconsciously measure you, not by your clothes, not by your status, but by the energy that surrounds you. This energy is invisible, yet it commands everything. It is the quiet force of certainty. When you possess it, people feel it before they understand it. When you lack it, no amount of words can compensate. Inner certainty is the invisible armor that separates those who are respected from those who are dismissed. It is not arrogance, nor loud confidence. It is the silent, immovable conviction that you belong wherever you stand. Certainty begins in the mind, but radiates through the body. It is found in the stillness of your posture, in the steadiness of your gaze, in the deliberate pace of your movements. The uncertain rush, the certain take their time. The uncertain explain themselves, the certain let silence fill the gaps. Every gesture, every pause, every breath becomes a declaration that you are in control of yourself. And when people sense that control, they instinctively surrender respect. The world bows not to noise but to composure. You do not need to dominate others to appear powerful. You only need to dominate yourself. Those who carry inner certainty never seek approval, because approval is a currency of the weak. The moment you chase validation, you reveal dependence. But when you are certain of your worth, Others begin to compete for your acknowledgement. The powerful understand that people follow conviction more than logic. They are drawn to those who move, as if guided by something deeper than fear or doubt. Certainty creates gravity, an invisible pull that makes others align their behavior around yours. You do not persuade, you attract. You do not demand respect, you make it the only reasonable response. Inner certainty is not born from perfection, it is born from acceptance. The strong know their flaws, yet they do not hide from them. They carry their imperfections like scars of experience, not wounds of shame. They do not need to prove their superiority, because they are not in competition with others, only with their own potential. The weak man measures himself against the crowd. The strong man measures the crowd against himself. This quiet defiance is what gives weight to his presence. To develop such certainty, one must master emotion. Doubt, fear, and anxiety are natural, but they are not meant to be shown. Feel them privately, but never display them publicly. The world respects those who remain calm when others tremble, who speak softly when others shout, who stand still while others rush. Calmness under pressure is the ultimate proof of internal power. It tells the world that you are anchored, that no storm, no opinion, no failure can shake your foundation. Certainty also comes from clarity of purpose. When you know exactly what you want and why you want it, hesitation vanishes. Every action becomes sharp, every decision deliberate. Most people wander unsure of their direction, pulled by emotion and circumstance. But the one who moves with intention commands the landscape. People can sense it. The subtle precision in your choices, the quiet decisiveness in your words. They respect those who seem to know where they are going, even if they themselves do not understand the path. The law of inner certainty demands that you become your own source of validation. You must no longer depend on applause, agreement, or reassurance. The world mirrors your internal state. If you are uncertain, others will question you. If you are certain, others will follow. Respect begins where self-doubt ends. When you move, speak, and act from a place of inner conviction, you create a presence that cannot be ignored. People may not always like you, but they will feel compelled to respect you. For certainty is the language of power that every human instinctively understands. There is a quiet power that separates those who command respect from those who plead for it. It is the power of indifference, the ability to remain unmoved in a world desperate for reaction. Indifference is not apathy, it is control. It is the art of mastering your emotions so completely that no one can use them against you. Most people live as open books, their moods dictated by approval and rejection, praise and insult. The powerful do not. They remain calm in the face of provocation, composed in the presence of chaos, and silent where others would beg to be understood. It is this calm that unsettles people. When you do not react, they lose their power over you. Indifference transforms the dynamics of every relationship. When someone realizes that their words, attention, or withdrawal cannot shake you, they begin to value your attention. The human mind is drawn to what it cannot control. We chase what withholds from us. Indifference turns you into a mystery, and mystery always commands fascination. When others seek validation from you but receive only composure, they begin to perceive you as superior. Respect is not about being liked, it is about being valued. And people only value what feels scarce. This strategy demands emotional discipline. You must resist the urge to explain, to argue, to prove your worth. The moment you react to criticism, you validate it. The moment you chase understanding, you lower your worth. The world is full of those who respond too quickly, who seek to be seen, who need to be right. Their need exposes them. Your silence protects you. The one who can sit in discomfort without showing it holds power over the one who cannot. When you are indifferent to praise, people trust your confidence. When you are indifferent to insults, they fear your strength. You become untouchable, not because you are hard, but because you are beyond reach. True indifference does not mean you feel nothing. It means you choose what deserves your reaction. You no longer waste emotion on triviality. You learn to observe rather than engage, to analyze rather than absorb. This detachment gives you clarity. It allows you to see manipulation before it unfolds, to sense hidden motives behind flattery, and to recognize weakness behind aggression. Most people reveal their entire strategy through emotion, but when you remain still, you force others to reveal themselves. Indifference also breeds respect because it communicates self-sufficiency. You show that you are complete within yourself, that your worth is not tied to the acceptance or rejection of others. This threatens those who depend on external validation. They cannot control you because you need nothing from them. It confuses them, even intimidates them. In time, they begin to treat you with caution, careful not to lose what they cannot easily influence. That caution is a form of respect, the respect reserved for those who do not need permission to exist. To practice indifference, you must detach from outcomes. Speak your truth, but remain unaffected by how it is received. Offer your value, but do not chase recognition. Give attention when it serves your purpose, not when it feeds your ego. Indifference is the mark of inner abundance, the realization that nothing external can add or subtract from your worth. The one who truly understands this becomes calm in victory and composed in defeat. In every situation, remember that reaction is a form of surrender. The world will test your emotions to see where your weakness lies. They will insult you to provoke anger, flatter you to provoke vanity, and ignore you to provoke insecurity. Each time you remain unmoved, you deny them control. Respect is not earned by proving yourself to others, but by showing that nothing they do can shake your foundation. When others see that you are not desperate for approval or recognition, they begin to offer both freely. Hoping to win what you refuse to seek. Power begins where your boundaries are drawn. Every individual who commands respect understands that without limits, there is no value. People respect what they cannot easily access, what they must earn, what they must wait for. When you give your time, attention, and energy freely, you teach others to see you as ordinary. When you guard them with intention, you teach them that your presence has weight. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They separate what deserves your energy from what drains it. They communicate that you are not for everyone, and that truth alone elevates you. Boundaries shape how others treat you long before words are spoken. The way you respond to interruptions, the calmness with which you decline, the steadiness with which you say no, these are all signals of self-respect. Weak boundaries create chaos, but strong boundaries create clarity. You cannot demand respect from others if you do not first demonstrate it toward yourself. The one who constantly sacrifices their peace to keep others comfortable becomes invisible, and invisibility is the enemy of respect. To be respected, you must first be seen as someone who values themselves enough to protect their own space. The mastery of boundaries requires you to become deliberate about your availability. Every time you make yourself too accessible, you dilute your presence. Those who are always around are taken for granted, but those who appear with purpose are remembered. When your time feels rare, your words carry weight. When your attention feels earned, your presence commands focus. People start to approach you with intention rather than expectation. They measure their words, they manage their tone, they hesitate before crossing lines. That hesitation is not fear. It is respect born from uncertainty about how far they can go. Boundaries are not only about others, they are also about mastering yourself. You must set limits on your impulses. The urge to please, to explain, to prove. Each time you give in to those urges, you trade authority for approval. The person who can deny their own need to be liked gains control over those who cannot. Emotional restraint is a boundary too. It tells the world that your reactions are not for sale. You do not answer every insult. You do not engage every provocation. You do not chase understanding. In doing so, you shift the balance of power silently. The more disciplined your emotions, the more others must discipline theirs around you. Boundaries also define hierarchy. When you draw clear lines, you force others to recognize your position. In every relationship, whether personal or professional, there is a natural order determined not by titles but by behavior. The one who sets the pace, who decides when and how interactions happen, establishes quiet dominance. When you are the one who dictates when conversations begin and end, when favors are granted or denied, when access is allowed or withdrawn, you control the rhythm of respect. You teach others that your energy is not a public resource, but a privilege. To master boundaries, you must learn the strength of selective silence. You do not need to explain your decisions, justify your choices, or over-communicate your limits. Boundaries lose their power when they are defended too often. The more you talk, the more you negotiate, and the moment you negotiate, you invite others to test the line. The strong draw the boundary once and hold it with quiet consistency. People may resist at first, but repetition teaches them that your limits are not suggestions. Over time, they will adjust their behavior to fit within them. Boundaries are a mirror of self-perception. The tighter you guard your time and energy, the more others perceive you as valuable. Those who respect themselves teach others how to behave. Those who tolerate everything teach others how to disregard them. It is not about being cruel or detached, it is about balance. knowing that without self-protection, there can be no self-respect. The powerful understand that the world always tests what it can take. It will push until it meets resistance. If you offer none, you will be consumed by the demands of others, and they will never feel guilt for taking what you offered freely. Boundaries are how you remind them that your value is not infinite, your patience not endless, your presence not guaranteed. True authority does not need to shout. It does not demand attention, it commands it. Those who truly hold power understand that influence works best when it is felt, not declared. The art of subtle authority lies in the ability to make people yield to your presence without a single word of force. It is quiet confidence, strategic composure, and the mastery of tone and posture that separate a leader from the crowd. Authority begins long before you speak. It begins in how you stand, how you look at others, how you move through space. The way you carry yourself teaches others how to treat you. If you move with certainty, people adjust themselves around you. If you move with hesitation, they move through you. Subtle authority is not about domination. It is about control, not over others, but over yourself. The strongest leaders are not those who intimidate through fear, but those who maintain unshakable calm, even when the world around them trembles. Their presence becomes an anchor in chaos, and people instinctively turn toward it. When you do not rush to speak, others wait to hear you. When you do not force respect, others grant it willingly. The silent strength of a composed mind is far greater than the noise of insecurity disguised as confidence. To embody this authority, you must first master restraint. Power grows in proportion to your ability to choose when to act and when to hold back. Most people waste energy reacting to every slight, defending every opinion, asserting themselves in every room. They confuse movement with influence, but subtle authority comes from patience, from letting others reveal themselves while you observe, from allowing silence to work in your favor. Silence makes people uncomfortable. They fill it with their need for approval or validation. You, however, remain still. That stillness creates unease, and unease becomes respect. Your tone of voice is another instrument of authority. The one who speaks slowly, clearly, and calmly controls the pace of the room. People adjust their rhythm to match yours. You do not compete for attention. You create it by the weight of your composure. Even a few words, delivered with precision, can carry more force than long speeches shouted in desperation. When you control your voice, you control how others perceive your certainty. The loud are often ignored, the calm are obeyed. Subtle authority also thrives on consistency. People respect what they can predict. If your reactions are stable, if your decisions remain grounded regardless of circumstance, others begin to see you as reliable, and reliability breeds influence. The moment your emotions dictate your actions, your authority fractures. But when you remain the same in victory and defeat, when praise and criticism move you equally little, people begin to anchor their behavior around yours. They trust your steadiness more than their own impulses. You must also understand that subtle authority does not chase recognition. The powerful do not advertise their strength. They allow others to discover it through experience. You do not tell people you are in control. You demonstrate it through the calmness with which you respond, through the way your words shape outcomes, through the quiet certainty that makes others hesitate before disagreeing. You do not have to win every argument. You simply need to give the impression that you could, if you wished. It is the possibility of your power, not its display, that commands respect. Your environment reflects your inner dominance. How you dress, how you maintain your surroundings, how you enter and exit a space, all these send silent messages about your authority. Clean simplicity speaks louder than ostentation. Composure is more impressive than performance. When people sense that your energy is organized, that your mind is unshaken, that your focus is undivided, they begin to treat you differently. Even without titles or status, your demeanor becomes a form of power that others recognize instinctively. The art of subtle authority requires that you never explain your worth. The moment you defend your value, you cheapen it. The moment you chase understanding, you surrender control. Let others wonder how much power you hold. Let them guess how much influence you possess. Their imagination will exaggerate your strength more than your words ever could. To lead without announcing, to influence without effort, to command without command, this is the highest form of authority. Respect is not something you beg for. It is something you become. It does not come from loud confidence or forced dominance, but from quiet mastery. Mastery over your emotions, your presence, and your boundaries. The world bows to those who are disciplined enough to hold themselves with restraint, who carry mystery instead of desperation, who remain calm where others crumble. The secret of the top 1% is not that they are born powerful. It is that they have learned to make power a reflection of their inner state. When you understand the balance between distance and connection, when you cultivate unwavering inner certainty, when you use indifference as a shield rather than a weapon, when you draw unshakable boundaries and project quiet authority, you no longer ask for respect, you command it. People feel it before they realize it. They watch their tone around you, measure their words, and adjust their behavior without being told to. You no longer chase validation because you have become the source of it. Powerful people are not respected because they dominate others. They are respected because they dominate themselves. They move like calm storms, unhurried, unreadable, unshaken. In a world addicted to reaction, the one who remains still becomes the center of gravity. That is the secret of presence. That is the essence of influence. When you embody these principles, you will not need to demand respect. It will arrive in silence, drawn to your stillness, bound by your composure, and sustained by the strength that no one can see, but everyone can feel.